Alright, in this episode I'm going to be talking about cin and cout. Okay, and those are the functions that the programmer or the coder uses to output, to print output and to take input in his program. And they're very simple input-output functions, but they're very useful. Okay, and it's the primary way of inputting and outputting information. So in order to use, well, let's first of all we can get rid of this. We don't really need that. And let's take a look at what's inside our int main function. This is called the main function. And inside we have STD, that's not sexually transmitted disease, it stands for standard. We have standard, : cout, that's not count, it's cout. This is the insertion operator, extraction, I forget which one, but it's the less than and less than symbols. And then we have text in quotes, double quotes, and this text is called a string literal because it is literally a string of characters. And then we end it with a semicolon. The next line we have return 0, and that ends with a semicolon. And you might be thinking, well, if you're completely new to programming, you might be thinking, what the heck is with the semicolons? Well, the semicolons are like periods in English sentences. If you're writing sentences, they all end in periods. In programming, all your statements end in semicolons to let the compiler know that this statement is done executing, or finish it right here, or whatever. Going back to input and output, in C++, there is one way to output, and that is, well, right here, std : cout. I believe that is the extraction operator, and then you type a string literal in double quotes. So if I run this program like I did before, okay, it's just going to print to our output, it'll build, and then it'll print hello, world. Program ended with exit code 0. And we could add more stuff. We could say std : cout. My name is David. That is my name. And then \n and quote and then semicolon. And if we run it, our new output is hello world. My name is David. Just like that. And I want to let you know right now that this \n is a command that means new line. So when the compiler prints this, it's going to print a new line when it gets to \n. And here's what happens when you don't have the \n on your final line. You're going to have this program ended with exit code 0 attached to your ending sentence. So it's always important to have that \n in there. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, std : cout extraction operator, and then the string, and then semicolon, that's a lot to remember, and you can actually simplify this. Right below your #include statements, you can say using namespace standard, semicolon. And when you do that, you can, if you want, get rid of all the std : colons and just have cout this, and this. You might be thinking, well, why the heck would any programmer do it the other way? Why would they do it std : cout, you know? And there is a good reason. I mean, some say that if you're doing it like this, if you're just saying I'm using this standard namespace in the very beginning of your program, they call it, I think it's clogging the namespace, or is it? Clogging the namespace, or something like that. And I won't get into much detail about that right now because namespaces are kind of advanced for us where we're at right now. All you need to know is that there are many ways you can use cout. If you use the using namespace std right below your #includes, okay, you can do it that way. You can do it this way with the std : and then your command. And there is yet another way, using std : cout, using std : cin when we use cin. You can do it that way. And if you do it this way, you won't be clogging the namespace as much because you're not importing the entire standard namespace. You're just importing these commands from the standard namespace. And then you can use them again like this. But some programmers prefer this. I prefer just, the all-inclusive using namespace std. I like that. So whatever, if you're not into typing, this might be the best option for you. That way you only have to type cout and cin, and then the other commands that can be found in the standard namespace. To take input, type cin, and then the insertion operator, I believe is the name for that. And before we do that, we have to declare let's do numbers. So to make a number variable, type int, int is short for integer, and then, I don't know, number equals 0, semicolon. And for cin, we're going to take a number in, and we're going to put it in the variable named number. And I'm going to say enter an integer. And I don't really want that. I do want a space. Alright, and then we can say cout. Endl is a command that means end line. It's the same thing as \n. It'll print a new line. So after we input an integer, we're going to make a new line, and on that line, well, I'll make 2 new lines. And on the second line, we're going to say string literal, you input, and then we're going to output what we input for number, but we have to do that. I'm going to do \n. There. And now, when we run this, it'll say, hello world, enter an integer. And if I put my cursor there, I'm going to say 561 or whatever, press enter, and it's going to tell me your input was 561, program ended with this code. Alright, good. So cin is to take in input from the user, typed input. Cout is to output anything really, text, the value of a variable, numbers, etc. I'll get more into variables and initialization and declarations and stuff like that in the next video. So stay tuned.